Hey, EPT crew, this is TD Campbell coming at you. I am without my very, very fine co host, Train. He is not joining me today, but he will definitely chime in on this. I am quite sure because I could not let a moment go by once I saw this video. I could not say anything in the moment. I am not a clout chaser, nor am I interested in doing things in the moment just because that's when they need to be done, because this is something that I talk about a lot in my peer group and in my support groups. And it is one of those topics that I am immensely passionate about. And just know something about me. I'll qualify this ahead of time by saying I am not concerned in playing the blame game. I'm not concerned with men against women, especially not. And I am speaking from a Black woman's perspective, right? Okay, I've got Black sons and I've got Black men in my family, a Black father. Okay, so it is not for me about Black women against Black men, because I think that is divisive and nothing good comes from that ever. So why even bother having that conversation? Because that doesn't bring us closer together. It only creates a greater divide, which for me just means we're giving in more and more to the separation of families, and more Black women being single and wanting to be single, and overall just men in general not being happy in current relationships, still stepping out on their partners because they don't want to really be with that particular woman. A whole host of things, right? So I'll try to stay level-headed. I will try to stay focused. I'm going to obviously go back and edit this, but I, again, could not let a moment go by without speaking about this, upon which I am so passionate. So I do want to go ahead and share a clip. I will, from the Breakfast Club. And it was about a comment that Tyler Perry had made during an interview. So let me go ahead and play this clip. And there we go. So let me go ahead and play this clip, and I'll get back with you guys in a minute.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlemagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, if you're just joining us, we're talking about this interview that Tyler Perry said. And Tyler Perry said this in the interview.
In our society right now, Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than Black men, right? There are a lot of Black men who are successful, but for the most part, Black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works at whatever job and is a good man and is good to you and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you handle the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine.
Yeah.
That love, that support, that I got you, babe, it's a beautiful thing.
So we're asking 800.
Okay. Okay. There's a lot to unpack there. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to spend the next hour, 2 hours, whatever, trying to unpack all that he said, because there's a lot. And I do think it honestly does warrant conversation, again, because we're talking about a successful Black man himself who came up from nothing to living in his car, I believe it was, to being a billionaire and owning, getting ready to try to buy BET and things like that. So for that comment for him to make about Black women should be okay with a man who can just pay the light bill, as long as he's a good man, as long as he can, she loves him and she's okay with that, and as long as he's secure. There were a lot of qualifiers there that I think oftentimes people miss. Sometimes I think, you hear a conversation like that happening from somebody like Tyler Perry, and you think, oh, well, okay, he's telling us to just accept this, right? Because, just accept that, the Black man is not going to be able to make what I make. So just accept him doing the bare minimum, the best he can, right? Instead of having a conversation with Black men about doing more so that they can become more like like him, maybe accomplishing what he has accomplished, or even not even necessarily just, you know, being at his level or whatever, but just doing more to be better for themselves, so that they are not dependent on their, on their significant others for anything, for any type of sustenance. And one of Train and I's earlier videos, Train had posed the question about what are the 4 things that a woman needs to have in a man that she deems relationship worthy. So one of my 4 was that he needed to meet me at my level. And I do think I added to that he couldn't need me. Right. He can't need me for anything. He can't need me to pay his light bill. He can't need me. And the same goes for me. So if you've watched this Breakfast Club clip, then you hear Charlamagne say, love matters. And, and I've got to go back and excuse my memory again, EPT kicking in, right? Or OEPT kicking in. And I don't have anybody here with me to keep me on track. So this is just me and TD's brain trying to work this out, right? So, but Charlamagne had just kind of made mention that women need to stop looking for just pockets. Now, I agree with that. I have to be honest, because I have seen women and talked to women and mentored women and just had the general conversations with a group of Black women who say, money matters. Money, he has to have this, he has to. And I don't know where this all elusive number of 6 figures comes, this, dollar amount comes in, the 6 figures comes in, why that's so important. Because again, Train and I have had this conversation. If just because you make 6 figures doesn't mean you're making 6 figures. Okay. I need people to understand that. And I need my sisters to understand that, good, bad, or indifferent, because just because a man makes six figures doesn't mean he actually has 6 figures. Okay. So, but, Charlamagne says, people need to be looking for love and people with good character and things. And those things are great. Those things are wonderful. But again, listening to Tyler Perry's interview, and Tyler gave all of these qualifiers for what that Black man needed to have in order for that Black woman to accept the fact that he has less, right? He needed to be secure in and of himself. Now, let's just stop there. Let's just stop with him needing to feel secure in and of himself, with his woman taking care of everything and being the provider that men are supposed to be. Now, I'm going to speak right now from the dynamic of someone who says that they are a Christian and that they believe in Christian principles. And so this isn't a conversation about religion or what have you. I'm just speaking in the vein in which somebody like a Tyler Perry would be speaking in, because these are biblical principles, right? So I'm speaking in that vein. So even if I'm speaking in that vein, his conversation is completely, his feedback, his advice is completely outside of the dynamic that the Bible says, a provider should have for their spouse, for their wife. Right? There's where in the Bible, and somebody please tell me, because I'm gonna look for it myself, and maybe, and I don't mind being wrong, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It just gives me an opportunity to grow, right? So I will find where it says in the Bible that a woman needs to accept a man who she's providing for. Okay, she's providing the home, she's providing the finances. Oh, but he's got great character. Oh, his character is awesome. Oh, he can take me out to dinner every now and again. That is just so marvelous. That's great. But he can't afford to keep me in the lifestyle to which I'm accustomed. Only I can do that, but I can't depend on him for that. But because he has great character, I'm going to stick by that man. Why in the hell should I accept that? Why? If I can, what do I need you for? Let's just keep it real. What do I need you for if I can do all the things with my pockets that you should be able to do? What do I need you for? There goes that infamous dumbass question again about what do you bring to the table? I hate that question. If any man ever posed it to me, it's a deal breaker for me. I don't even want to have it, because it is an unintelligible conversation, because it always ends up with you just want money. No, it's not about me just wanting money. But can we just be honest for 5 seconds and really be transparent about the fact that if you don't have it, life will not be good. You walk into my life and I am able to take care of myself. I am able to pay all of my bills. I am able to do everything that I do for myself. You see me and you say, oh, she takes care of herself. And then you come in my life and you can't afford to take care of me the way that I've been taking care of myself. How are you then secure? I need somebody to explain that to me. When do men become okay with being secure in the fact that they can't even provide for a woman the way she can provide for herself? Help me understand how that makes a man secure. Now, I'm not a man, and this is a good time for Train to jump in because he would definitely have something to say here, which is why I'm recording this, and he's going to look at it later and we're going to talk about it because I do think it's important. I think, and again, there is no blame game here. I am not, again, I will repeat this ad nauseum. I do not do them versus us. I don't believe in that. Again, it is divisive. I am not interested in hearing all of the negative things that Black women do or all the negative things that Black men do and don't do, because that doesn't bring us together. I am looking for understanding. I am looking for, cohesive conversations, healthy, balanced conversations about, okay, so you don't have this. Fine. Okay, so, and I've had this conversation with my girlfriends, is that, do you really need to be a whole person to partner yourself with somebody, somebody new in a relationship or whatever? And I will say, yes, I do believe you do need to be a whole person, but I think you need to be able to define what it means to be a whole person yourself. Right. I don't know that definition is all inclusive. In Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, she taught one of the things. I love the book. It was very boring because she has this kind of not charmed life, but it's very well written. I will say that, but not a whole lot happens in her life. And she didn't give any like juicy details or anything. But I will say this about the book. The thing I took away from it is that she said that Barack came to her as a whole person, a whole human being, not somebody she felt like she needed to fix. He was a provider. He was on the move. He was doing things. He wasn't rich. She was, they're both, she was middle class. They both come from working class families. So she saw in him, she had a vision of him, right? And he was walking in his vision. He himself never said he saw the presidency as an option, but he was a grassroots politician and a lawyer, and she saw that, and that's fine, and I get it. And but what she said was that he was already this complete person when she met him, and she wasn't talking about his money. She wasn't talking about his big house or his parent. I do believe, and somebody, I can figure this out. I can go read the book again or get the pages or whatever. But I do believe she even talked about his raggedy car. So she wasn't talking about money and sustenance and things like that. She wasn't talking about his ability to, take her out to fancy places. She was talking about his character and about where he was moving to and about where he was going. I don't hear Tyler Perry having that same conversation in this particular interview. Now, I am too of the mindset we tend to oftentimes take bites of things and just blow them out of proportion. That's why I like to have conversations about things, right? Just not, just say, oh, he said this, so that must mean everything. No, we're not doing that. But again, he did say it, and he said it in the way that we're listening to it. So I needed to say something to speak to that, right? Michelle Obama's book in Becoming, again, Barack wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, but he had a vision and he was walking in that vision, and she saw that in him. And they were both educated, and they were both young too as well. So they were at a building block. They were at the same building block on some level. She said he was above her, that she had to rise up to his level. And again, we are not talking about finances. That's not what we're talking about. And so I am too of the mindset that it is not about just the money, but the whole idea that a man can himself get to a place of security by knowing that he can't provide for his woman. is concerning to me. I have to be honest, because I don't know how a man can feel secure. Again, I'm not a man. I don't know. So I just know what I experienced with my ex-husbands. I have two. So I'm obviously not good in that area. We'll talk about that later. I'm fine with that. But my ex-husband wasn't secure at all. And I didn't figure that out until many, many years later. Right? He walked with confidence. He spoke with confidence. When he entered a room, you knew he was there. He was very okay in large settings and you could take him anywhere. I mean, he wasn't afraid to speak up, and he had a voice, and he was intelligent. But there were a lot of things that he lacked, and it began to bubble up and surface up over time. And the more money that I made, it seems to me, just in hindsight, and I got to unpack this. I'm still unpacking some things about me, right? So it's something that I also have to unpack. But it seems to me that the more successful, or the more money I made, the one in my roles on my jobs, the worse he got towards me. The cheating and the lying, and then the verbal abuse, and then the mental abuse, and then the physical abuse. So it just became a progressive, progressively worse, as time went on. And I never stopped making more money. So again, that's a conversation that needs to be unpacked as well. So I've done what Tyler Perry suggests. I thought I had a man with good character, and I was okay with him being, we were living together for a number of years, 8, I think. And I was okay, honestly, with him just being at home and picking me up from work and cleaning. He taught me how to cook. The man can cook. He taught me how to cook. He didn't clean. He cooked. He didn't clean. He took care of my son when I wasn't there. I had a special needs child, and he would go with me to go visit him as well. So he was present in my life, but he had an agenda, right? So when he didn't see himself as part of my agenda as I grew in my career, that's again when things turned even worse. And again, I let me back up to say, I am not removed from my level of accountability here. Is that the right word? Removed. I am not dismissing my level of accountability here. So there are some things that I did too. So I'll talk about that as well. I have no problem. But again, in the confines of the conversation that we're having about what Tyler Perry said, and it's just kind of all the rage right now. And, Black women are literally up in arms, especially since Black women were the one that gave him his platform. Isn't that interesting? That Black you stood on the backs of Black women. And I want, let me not say that, because that sounds very negative, not standing on the backs, but you got pulled us all in, with your muumuus and your dresses and your plays. Black women frequented those plays, not Black men. Black men did not make you famous. A Black woman, she gave you Oprah Winfrey. So Black women are who you have been riding, and I will say this, riding the coattails on for your entire career. And again, I don't need statistics to say that. All you need to do, back in the 90s or whenever again, my dates are probably all jacked up because I got OEPT. Okay. So, but I remember when Tyler Perry, I was in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, when I first saw a Tyler Perry play. Can't even remember the name of it. I wasn't all that impressed, to be honest. It was just something that was happening. It was either in the 90s or the early 2000s, something like that. And I wasn't impressed. But I tell you who wasn't there in droves, Black men. That wasn't happening. You don't see Black men congregating to those, his television shows. With the buffoonery. You don't see Black men gravitating towards that. You don't see Black women gravitating towards, Madea. Okay. A Black man dressing up in drag and, funny as it may be, but again, we are the ones, Black women are the ones that carried him, period. You would have nothing without us. And to then say we should be okay with a man who can just pay the light bill while we out here struggling, we don't want to be strong all the time. I'm tired. I'm tired of making every decision. I wish and let me just be honest. Train and I have this conversation all the time too. I'm terrible with money. My ex-husband was right about that. I'm not going to even lie. I will give that man his props about the fact that I am awful with money, my coin. But you know what? It's my money. And nobody's telling me how to spend it. Nobody's relying on me. I don't have kids to take care of. I'm an empty nester. So it's just me. So if it was somebody else, obviously I would spend my money more in a frugal fashion, right? But I would love to give some of this power away. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Black women have to go through it at work. We have to always constantly be seen with a strong face. We can't cry, because if we cry at work, then we're not strong enough to move forward and speak in those spaces where we need to be aggressive. And it's exhausting, people. It's exhausting. And I'm just very disappointed, honestly, that that this is the loudest conversation today amongst Black women. But maybe it's one that we need to have. Maybe it's a conversation. I do think that people have the, ability to, even in their generalized discussions, give us a running start into a conversation that changes the dynamic in the ways that Black men and Black women engage in relationships. Okay, so I don't know, maybe I'm optimistic that way. Maybe this is one of those conversations where we can start saying healthy things to our counterparts and saying, you know what, I want you to be a king in my house. I want to sit down and be submissive and cook for you and love you and, give you good, great sex. But because I know that you take care of me and that you would dominate the world to make sure that my life was secure and that I was safe. But we don't feel that by and large. We don't feel that when we're dating. I'm dealing with, and I'm not really a dater. I don't really date. I don't know even if the one thing in 3 years that I went on, it could actually be called a date. I don't know, but maybe it is. My definition, I guess, it wasn't anything spectacular, but and that's fine. I'm not somebody that needs grand gestures. As a matter of fact, I hate them. I don't like grand gestures at all because I don't think they're sustainable. Again, another conversation for another day, not right now. But we're tired. Mr. Perry, we're tired. And that conversation, that comment that we should just be okay with someone who loves us unconditionally and can, every now and again afford to take us out to eat and can't provide for us. We're tired. That wasn't a helpful comment from a billionaire. Because now you have a plethora of men. I went on TikTok to look at the original poster. Her name is IMANE Europe. Beautiful black woman. I think she's on the West Coast. She's an author, inspirational speaker. I'll put her name, her IM or her Instagram in the comments as well. But I loved her video. I loved her response because she said she woke up and she was on Baller Alert. she said, I love the fact that she kind of opened up when she was in her Black house minding her Black business, and then she realized that she was on Baller Alert. So which I thought was just hilarious. I love us at the end of the day. I love Black women. But we're tired, Mr. Perry. This didn't help the conversation. This didn't help the already trivialized narrative that Black women have to defend every single day. Every day. I work in a profession where I'm always talking to women that look like me, who have a different experience about what it means to be successful in a world of women and men that don't look like them. And it's real. Perceptions are real. And so, Mr. Perry, I hope all of this, chatter uh, starts another conversation, a healthier conversation about why it's not okay for anybody, in all honesty. And Charlemagne actually spoke to this too. Why would I want a broke woman? I agree with that. Why would a man want a broke woman? And why is it so much easier for all of these Black men who provide women with advice? Why is it so much easier for them to target their messaging towards us as opposed to targeting that messaging towards their peers, Black men? And I have a theory about that. I do believe because Black women are easier to change because we are forced to be flexible. We don't have a choice. Nobody gave us an option on whether or not we could or couldn't shift gears on a moment's notice. We had to. We have always had to. Since the beginning of time, I could probably come up with a myriad of examples of instances in history, my personal life, my friends' personal lives, where we don't have an option but to pivot and pivot quickly. So, but Black men, not so much. I've seen Black men quit. I have seen Black men quit their jobs just so that they don't have to pay child support. Not go get a better paying job or go get an education or anything like that, but quit their jobs so that they could not be tagged by the child support office. I've experienced this myself. Okay. And I took my first husband off child support because he was taking care of our son. But in the beginning, he was on child support when we first got divorced because I had to get on welfare. I had to go get Medicaid because I wasn't working and I had to go get Medicaid, and I didn't get any financial assistance or anything like that, but I did get some food stamps and Medicaid. And because I was, married and divorced, they had to, reach out to him, to get their money and to get, child support. So the system put him on child support. So I took him off, when he was able to be stable. And when he just started taking care of his son, that's all I cared about. Take care of your son. I don't need you to take care of me. I'm good. He will always be good. I need you to care for your child, which doesn't just mean giving me money so that I can take care of him. It also means I need you to, on Friday, I'm dropping him off. I used to drop my son off faithfully every Friday at his dad's house and pick him up on Sunday. And then after a while, he started picking him up. So we got into a better place, God rest his soul. But we got into a better place regarding our son, but it took a while. And it wasn't easy because I had to push him because I refused to be a single mother again. I wasn't doing that twice. And this was our son. I was not going to be this my child. I don't need no man to do. I ain't doing that. Because ladies, let me tell you, when you deny your children access to their father, you are denying yourself. I realized how freeing it was not to have my son around when he was with his dad. Not that I don't love that child to death. I would give him my life and lay it down gladly because he is my son. He is flesh of my flesh. But my goodness, when his dad had him, that's his dad. I don't have any more right to my child than his dad did. And I wasn't about to let him get away with, having me just be a single mom. I wasn't going to do it. So you ladies out there that think that you're doing something by trying to keep that child away from their dad just because he's not doing what you want him to do, or he's not paying this or whatever, child support be damned. Put that child in. That's that man's son or that man's child. Don't do that. It shouldn't be about money. Don't hold the child ransom because you're pissed. And there are some Black women that probably will hate me for life for saying that. I'm a pick-me chick. I don't care what you say. I'm too grown. I'm too old to care about what anybody thinks about me. I don't care. I really don't. I am secure in myself. I know who I am. And I know what I've been through. And I know what I won't tolerate from anybody. And I know that the things that I'm telling anybody else or that I'm sharing with other people are things that I too hold true. So I'm not about to tell anybody, and I tell people that I mentor this as well, women especially, that I am not going to give you advice that I wouldn't take myself. Am I flawed? Yes. I'm not ridiculous. I'm not a perfect person. But I'm not going to tell you something that I think is wrong just because it sounds good. I'm not going to do that. Don't have any interest in that because that doesn't benefit me, and it certainly doesn't benefit you. My goal here is to get to a place where we are, again, not being divisive, where we are trying to figure out a way to come closer together, and so that we can be whole, because the world around us that doesn't look like us wants us to have this fight. I got to be honest. I'm pretty sure to hear a billionaire like Tyler Perry say that Black women should just be okay with taking less as long as he's all of these things, which again I find impossible to believe a Black man could be if he is not able to play his position. So it's an interesting dynamic to unpack. So that's all I had. I wanted to make sure that I hopped on, said those things, got it out of the way. It will give Mr. Train an opportunity to respond accordingly, and we'll have some dialogue about it. Because I do think it is something that needs to be discussed. All right. Well, this is my time. I am going to wrap this up. This is always great. EPT crew, you guys are the awesomest, the bestest. Leave your comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Is there a subscribe button? I'm not sure. Okay. But there will be one day, right? I manifest great things. So that's where I am. So I'm going to manifest that. So subscribe, and, leave some comments about what you think about this, and maybe some future topics. And if you're interested in maybe being a guest on our show, we are more than happy to reach out to you directly so that we can all just have a loving conversation again. Healthy debates. That's what this is all about. Healthy conversations about how we can become better. If it's not going to be something that is going to lead us down a path of excellence, I don't think we need to be discussing it. Honestly, I don't have any desire to continue to discuss things that tear us apart. So let's have that discussion. Like, share, subscribe. I'm your gal. I'm your old EPT partner, TD. And I will be back at you, hopefully, with my, what did my mother call him? She said, he's very laid back. My laid back co-host, Train. All right. See you guys later. Y'all be good.